Let's rock, baby.
Hey everyone, Kyle here today. I just got over some food poisoning, so I look pretty rough, but hey, I made the most of it, right? So, chapter 27 starts with Usopp basically been crying wolf so much that his entire town doesn't believe him now that Captain Kuro is back and he's ready for vengeance. And he goes and tries to save Kaya, who is very not easily fooled by Usopp's lies, and I guess the boy that cried wolf is really, really done it this time because he can't even protect the one person he really wants to save. So she gives him a big old fat backhand, and he takes off and runs, away, and he tries to save her, but she refuses. So the village comes and chases his butt down, right? And what I noticed about this chapter that was really special was the fact that there's like a lesson to be learned here, right? Sometimes if you lie too much, it can actually come back to haunt you. And it turns out, Usopp is really done it this time, right? My favorite moment of this chapter, I'm trying to think. I don't really know if I have a favorite moment. I'm like pondering that one. I don't actually know. I think this chapter was like great, right? There's some really good morals in here, but overall, eh. So chapter 28 starts, right, with Captain Kuro turning on basically Mary, who's like a butler assistant, right? And he full on just like attacks him. I presume he's dead, right? So he just full on just
We waited for this.
Miss, you have to get out of here! Run!
kills him with his cat claws or something. So that happened, right? And now Usopp and Nami and Zoro set this like slippery trap mud thing on the slope to stop the pirates from invading the village. And reading this again after a while, I've noticed how it's actually aged fairly well, just because, well, it could be nostalgia, right? But I have to say, I'm enjoying chapter 28 a lot. Like, the nostalgia I'm getting is like really high. So if I had to say my favorite moment of this chapter, by far it's the fact that Nami uses Zoro as like a ladder, because like Nami falls into the trap, right? And then she falls, grabs Zoro's, I think, waist or shirt, and then trades with Zoro. So then Zoro's like sliding down the slippery slope that Usopp's trap made. And then Zoro says, I swear I'm gonna kill this girl someday.
Help, I'm gonna fall!
Let go, you moron!
Sorry! Hello? See you there!
That girl's gonna pay!
I think that was by far the best part of the whole chapter. It really, really honestly made me bust up laughing. If you guys like this content, please subscribe, and thank you so much. I want to hit 500 subs by the end of the year, so that would be great. On to chapter 29. So chapter 29 starts off, right, with Usopp trying to fend off Captain Kuro's pirates. He's the first one to make it to the other side of the island, and he's over here, like, taunting them and lying, about how he has 5 million soldiers or whatever, and Django's just like, what? No way. Everyone's like laughing about how that was the worst lie they've heard all morning. And it cuts back to Luffy trying to figure out which way is north, and Zoro panting, trying to get up this oil slick hill. And eventually he gets so pissed off, he just pulls out both swords and just just skates his way back up. And it cuts to basically Zoro and Luffy making it at the last second and just beating the crap out of everybody. But there was this nice part of Usopp when he gets drilled really hard by this dude with this rock hammer thing, and Usopp is basically giving a really nice speech about how he wants to just tell another telltale tale of how boring the town is and how he's saved everybody. You know, he wants to just keep it kind of a BS lie. I think my favorite moment, though, has to be the fact that Usopp really, really tries his absolute heart out and really shows that he's a brave warrior despite his BS lies. I think that was probably my favorite moment of the chapter. Bonus points, though, for Zoro scaling the slick, though. That part was pretty funny. But yeah, I'll see you guys in chapter 30. So chapter 30 starts with the Zoro screaming at Nami, raged out, going, "Why'd you leave me in that quagmire?" And Nami says back, she's like, "Better to be one of us stuck in the quagmire than both of us." And Zoro was just like, you know, he's all like salty or whatever. And we see that, you know, the people that Zoro and Luffy just knocked out are slowly starting to get back up, and we see that Django or whatever, he's a hypnotist, and we see that he hypnotizes men, right? So that's why they're stronger than usual. And then he starts doing his little hypnotist 1, 2, 3, Django, you'll get stronger and heal, your wounds will heal. And so he hypnotizes his men again, and now they're able to just like break cliffs. And I'm like, I thought that was really interesting. I wonder how powerful some characters could actually be with this, or if it's like, I wonder how big of a multiplier that is. You know, power scalers go burr, right? Like what if scenarios. Someone should make a video on that. And we see that it hypnotizes Luffy, and so we see a new move from Luffy where he does go Gatling. So he turns his fists into like Gatling, so he's just like full on raged out Mike Tyson, right? And we see that Luffy grabs the ship mast and just like tears it off with the hypnotized amp. And I'm like, God damn, like, I wonder how powerful.
That's right! Tear it down!
He's gonna destroy our ship!
Luffy actually is in this amp, and I'm curious if he could take out like way stronger opponents than he could normally. So with that said, I think my favorite moment from this chapter might have to be that, actually. I just like the idea that Luffy is so like stupid that he actually gets hypnotized by Django, whatever. I thought that was really funny, and that he's able to just plow through his troops or his crew like they're nothing, right? So, chapter 31. Chapter 31 starts with Miss Kaya finding Mary on the floor, bleeding to death, and they come to the realization that Usopp was actually telling the truth the whole time. So it's kind of interesting that Mary's still alive, but yeah, you know, Miss Kaya basically finds the truth out, and she says, "I want to go have a word with Klahadore." And I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, Mary just told you his murderer. What, you're gonna go see the guy that just openly murdered your, I guess, relative? I don't know what Mary is, to be honest. It's just weird to me, that's all. So it cuts back to Zoro fending off the pirates, right? And we come to see the Meowbound brothers, and Zoro is fending off, you know, the Meowbound brother, and we see that he's a total wuss when approaching Zoro, and he's like crying or whatever, and he's like, "I swear I'm gonna kill you." And Zoro kind of like defends himself, not really like trying to kill him, to catch him off guard, and it's kind of genius. But I mean, I'm surprised Zoro would have like not seen that coming. You figured after all those duels that, you know, the guy could just be messing with you. But anyway, he gets the sword stolen, and that's basically how the chapter ends. Chapter 31's okay. My favorite moment of the chapter, there isn't anything really in here that's like jumping out at me besides nostalgia. I guess if I had to say my favorite moment of this chapter, it would probably be the fact that Captain Kuro just seems like a pretty like crazy psycho. I also noticed something very funny, actually. I don't know if this is my favorite moment of the chapter, but it's something that I noticed, that on his like suit, It's like a giant turd is on his suit. I don't know. I've never noticed that till now. I don't know. I have no clue how I've never noticed that. But yeah, there's like a giant like turd on his jacket. So it is what it is. Chapter 32. So chapter 32 basically begins with Zoro fending off one of the cats, right? And Sam, I guess his name is, and grabs Zoro, like this, and then knocks him onto the ground, and then he's holding him down on the ground, right? And Bucci jumps in and tries to pile drive him while he's down, and Zoro barely gets away on time, and he's fending off, both these cats with just one katana, right? And we see that Usopp is trying to give him a helping hand with his slingshot, and fires a shot at I think Bucci is who he's aiming at, and Zoro jumps in it to get hit on purpose, so they don't divert their attack towards Nami and Usopp, and Usopp's in shock that Zoro would do that, and Nami explains to him like, well, what if they come after us? Like, how are we gonna fight them? So Nami's gonna go get Zoro's swords, and we basically see that the chapter basically ends with Captain Kuro going, what the F is taking so long? And he's like, I'm gonna go figure out what they're doing. So we see Captain Kuro is going to figure out what's happening to his crew during all this, like, I guess you could say, clusterfuck. Right? But overall, I'd say this is actually a pretty good chapter. We finally get to see Zoro fight somebody that's actually seems like it's actually worth a challenge to him. So he's struggling with one sword. Will he be able to fend them all off? Find out on the next exciting episode. Rest in peace. I actually found out he passed away. But yeah. Chapter 33. So chapter 33 begins with Captain Kuro showing up and telling his crew they have 5 minutes. And we see that the Meowgon brothers actually decide to turn their attack towards Captain Kuro. And saying that he's basically gotten soft and he's become a weakling and he's become lighthearted since he started becoming a butler. And we find out very, very quickly that Captain Kuro has not lost his touch. And in fact, he is just as deadly as he was 3 years ago. And he gets the jump on the Meowgon brothers as they jump him. It's funny. They try to jump someone who jumps them. So he does the old reversal. I think the funniest part of this chapter, well, maybe it's just because I thought it was weird, but Captain Kuro's quote-unquote ability is called the pussyfoot. I don't know. I think that was like actually weird as hell, but kind of funny. But yeah, Nami ends up kicking Zoro's swords, and Captain Kuro basically tells them that they have 5 minutes. And the second Zoro literally acquires his swords, he full-on does one of his named attacks, the Tiger Hunt, and just wipes out both the Meowgon brothers in like 1 second. It just shows you just how OP. I still think Zoro really could take out all the villains. Maybe high diff, maybe not low diff, maybe the top of mid diff. He could probably. Nah, I think. I'm gonna go on a whim, and I'm gonna put my fanboys on the side. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a high diff. He could take out every single villain in the East Blue Saga with high diff. High diff, truly. Like, he really could. Zoro using his secret technique against Captain Kuro. I mean, I'm just saying. If he really tried, he could probably do it. Now, I will say that he may struggle with Arlong, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm excited. I'm having a lot of nostalgia. I hope you guys are having fun. If you guys want to share your favorite moments down below, you totally can, dude. Like, I'm just having fun here. I'm purely doing this for entertainment and for fun. I mean, if I can entertain maybe just 1 or 2 people doing this, that'd be great. But yeah, overall, my favorite moment, probably Zoro just freaking one-shotting these scrubs. I think that was disgusting. But yeah, I'm enjoying this nostalgia trip. I hope you guys are having fun, and I'll see you guys in chapter 34. So chapter 34 begins with Bucci, the guy that Zoro just sliced up, actually begging Django to hypnotize him again. And then he basically like gets healed off this, and he's just like hulked out, and he's all like ripped and like way stronger. He's no longer a fat chub. And Luffy's snoozing as always. Nami runs over and steps on his face with her disgustingly sharp high heels and wakes him up. And the hypnotist throws his like hypno ring, and it's actually a blade, and at Nami. And then Luffy's like pissed that Nami woke him up from a nap, and then the dagger slash hypnotized ring whacks Luffy in the back of the head, and he just screams "ow," like no problemo, you know. It just a little slice, you know, a little haircut, and I guess this is how Luffy wakes up. It's pretty funny though. It's one way to do it, right? And this chapter goes into detail of how Clawhador did like everything with Miskaya and like planned this out for like 3 years, and they went sailing and then he was at Miskaya's every waking call. Baking call? I can't even talk today, I guess. So, but yeah, pretty solid chapter. I enjoyed it. I love how intelligent Captain Kuro is. He seems like he's one of the smartest villains. We went from Buggy, who was just really buggy, to this really smart pirate where he's really sat down and really asked himself, how do I want to do this? And so he like does a plan for like 3 years, and it's like, damn, we went from like buggy to this. I see that Oda's starting to write better villains. Yeah, best part of the chapter for me, honestly, was the fact that Luffy just cuts him off and just sucks him right in the face. That was pretty cool when Luffy just punched Kuro in the face. Definitely the last page of the chapter was definitely my favorite. So chapter 35 begins with Luffy knocking Kuro flat on his ass, face down, ass up, right? And I think that was pretty solid punch from Luffy. About time, right? He's finally in action. And the 3 kids, Salt, Pepper, Carrot, I think their names were, they jump on top of Kuro and they whack him with this shovel. And I just think that was just like kind of funny, that you have these kids trying to save the village even. I guess Usopp really is a captain, He really did get a crew together that really are standing up and fighting. I thought that was a pretty cool addition. And we see that Bucci is back up on his feet and attacking Zoro, and he does this catapult attack. It just like slams the concrete down, and Zoro is like catches one of his hands while he's being pushed up against the wall with one katana, and he just kicks him off. I'm just like, bro, like how nerfed are you? Like I swear, Zoro was just so nerfed in East Blue early on in the series. And as we continue forward, I thought it was a pretty good chapter overall. I mean, it ends pretty quick. This is a pretty short chapter, and we see that what's his name, Django or whatever, is going after Miskaya because she shows up, and Clawhador says it doesn't matter. The plan is to have her write out the will and kill her. So Captain Kuro basically orders Django to go kill write out the will and kill her. So he goes after her, and then Usopp commands his crew to go protect Kaya. And I think that was probably, honestly, the best moment of the chapter, was just that Usopp is just able to command these kids. And I thought that was cool, that Usopp really is just this brave warrior. Like, he's really trying his heart out. I think that was a pretty cool part. That even this baffling buffoon Usopp can still, make a stand like that. Bravo. Volume 4 was solid, guys. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Please support and like the video. Thank you so much. I'm having fun. Lots of nostalgia going through this again. And I am going to see you guys next time on Volume 4. So maybe Sunday I'll try to push this one out. Maybe. So maybe Sunday or Monday. GG's, everybody. Take care. I'll see you in Volume 5.